Massive just released a whole lot of details regarding the first 3 DLC on their Twitch. They've got gameplay of the first incursions, and besides that they also showed footage of gear sets, assignments, supply drops in the Dark Zone, gear score, and player trading. Now, they also announced on their Twitter that there will be a patch tomorrow that will fix several glitches and exploits that have been discovered lately. Hornet. But yeah, without holding you up any longer, let's get down to the details. The first incursion that will be added is called Falcon Lost, and it can be started by entering the sewer in the bottom right corner of the map. For those who are already level 30, you have probably already seen this a few times. In this incursion, you will be fighting the LMB, because Captain Bliss might be dead, but a guy who goes by the name as Captain Perez has taken it up on himself to lead the LMB, and this is where they will be hiding out. Your mission is to, obviously, take them out. One thing that the developers have repeatedly said during the stream is that this mission will be very difficult and will require a very good team of 4 players to complete. They haven't released much details yet, but it seems that for the very first time ever, you will need to figure out specific strategies to take out the new bosses. And one of those bosses is the APC mini tank. Now the incursion will come in 2 difficulties. It has a hard and a challenge mode. What you're seeing on the background right now is the first bit of the mission in hard mode, and you will need to complete this first to be able to do it on challenge mode as well. There is one major thing, however, that makes them a lot more nail-biting and that separates them from the normal missions, and that is the fact that there are no checkpoints. So if you and your squad dies, you will have to start all over again. The rewards for completing an incursion comes in the form of these gear sets. Now, a lot of people seem to think that you will get an entire set of gear pieces, like you'll get the mask, the body armor, and the backpack all together, but that doesn't seem to be the case. Instead, you will get 1 item for the gear set and 1 item alone. But there is a reward if you manage to collect them all. You see, the gear set items in the game are displayed in this blue-greenish type of color with a special logo next to them. They are a tier above the high-end stuff. And as you may know, the high-end stuff has several small talents that can boost your character in one way or another. The gear sets, however, do not have that. But if you manage to collect all of the gear set items from a specific set, your character will get a very, very big boost. Now, this incursion will come with 4 gear sets to begin with. One is for sniper or damage players, one is for healers or support players, one is for the tanks or the people that like to play up front, and then there's also a gear set that is very useful for inside of the Dark Zone. It's also worth mentioning that you can do the incursions as many times as you want, and there's no weekly lockout. But you do get extra rewards for completing it the first time each week. Some of these rewards can come in the form of very powerful named weapons as well. It's also confirmed that these extra rewards are character locked but not account locked. So having 4 characters that are level 30 and utilizing the shared stash will allow you to get the extra bonus from the incursion 4 times a week. One last thing that's gonna change about all the gear in this game is that once you get to level 30, you will no longer see the character level next to someone's name. Instead, you will see their gear score. And this will truly indicate how powerful a person is, and it will even be used to match players of equal strength together. The challenge mode for the incursions will even require you to at least have a certain amount of gear score before you can start matchmaking. And now, onto the Dark Zone. The Dark Zone itself did not get any major overhaul, but it did get one added feature, and that is the random supply drop. Basically, there will be spots in the Dark Zone where airplanes will randomly drop down supply drops with a lot of very powerful gear, including a few of those gear set pieces. It is pretty much a first come first serve type of system here. The squad that arrives first will get the loot first, and the items cannot be stolen since you do not need to extract them. There is one catch, however, and that is that these supply drops will be very heavily guarded by strong enemies that will need to be killed first. So I'm kind of excited to see how this will work out. First, players may want to work together to kill off all the NPCs, but then after that, well, friendships might stop existing. Aside from that, they also talked a little bit about both the daily and the weekly assignments. Now, these assignments can come in many forms, but the ones that they showed required you to kill a set amount of enemies, or craft this much of that item, or extract that many items in the Dark Zone, and so on. They are basically the daily challenges that are not assigned or tied to any mission. One last thing that was mentioned as well is the trading system, and it seems that there are some pretty heavy limitations when it comes down to trading loot. For one, you can only trade loot with the people that were in your squad when you found that piece of loot, and 2, you can only do it within the first 2 hours of finding it. After the 2 hours, the item will be locked to whoever is holding it. Items that can still be traded will have this little white icon above them, and there will be an option to share the item. Once you do this, your character will simply drop it on the floor, and only those 3 players that played with you when you found the item will be able to pick it up. Again, this will really require you to trust your teammates, because you might want to give it to one teammate, and then the other guy picks it up and runs away. It's also worth noting that contaminated items in the Dark Zone can also be traded among the squad, but players will have to be in the safe area first to do that. And that is pretty much all of the information for the first major DLC. All of this will be 100% free, and it will all be released on the 12th of April for all platforms simultaneously. So Xbox doesn't get this a month early. Now, besides the DLC, I also wanted to mention that Massive is going to apply a smaller patch tomorrow that will fix a couple of the issues and the game-breaking glitches at the moment. First up, they will patch the current loot farming exploits, such as the one on Russian Consulate and the one on Lincoln Tunnel. And second up, they will also patch the glitch that allows you to play challenge mode missions with more than 4 players. So, if you still need to get that high-end weapon, or if this is still something you haven't done yet, you better try it out tonight, because after this, it's all over. And that was pretty much all for today. As always, I really hope you enjoyed, and I will see you guys later, or like they say, in the Netherlands. Zie je later!